Nowadays, finding Republicans humiliating themselves isn't that hard.
This is what I call a target-rich environment.
But there's a special kind of debasement that some of the biggest names in Republican politics have been treating us to in recent years. There's a predictable three-step pattern. They oppose Donald Trump, he viciously attacks them, and then, about 5 minutes later, they grovel at his feet in utter subservience while they endorse him.
I want you to lick it. Go on!
And no matter how much he's abused them, they seem intent on making it all even worse by meekly begging for more punishment.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another?
So here's the top 5 most embarrassing examples of Republican politicians spinelessly putting themselves through the Trump tumble-dry cycle. Number 5, little Marco Rubio. In 2016, Marco Rubio seemed pretty clear on Donald Trump.
For years to come, there are many people on the right, in the media, and voters at large that are going to be having to explain and justify how they fell into this trap of supporting Donald Trump, because this is not going to end well one way or the other.
Then Trump called him Little Marco and made fun of his drinking problem.
Don't worry about it, Little Marco.
And we will, I need water. Help me, I need water.
And inevitably,
tonight, Marco Rubio will endorse Donald Trump at the Republican National Convention in Cleveland.
As a Republican, I think it's time for Republicans to stop fighting against each other and come together.
It worked so well that Marco is now on Donald Trump's vice presidential shortlist. I guess you really can suck up. Number 4, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp. After Governor Kemp actually showed some backbone and stood up to Trump's attempts to undermine the results in 2020, Trump was enraged and went on the attack.
Brian Kemp is a turncoat, he's a coward, and he's a complete and total disaster.
The president called Kemp, quote, a fool and a clown.
So naturally, Kemp showed total integrity and toughness by sticking to his guns and opposing Donald Trump. No, I'm kidding. He folded faster than Superman on Laundry Day. Number 3, Mitch McConnell. After January 6th, Mitch McConnell was pretty clear about where he stood.
There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day.
Donald Trump attacked him.
Has made the Biden presidency look much better than it would have without the old crow. What Mitch McConnell has allowed the Democrats to get away with is absolutely unthinkable.
And moments later, Mitch McConnell went all Monty Python and knuckled under.
Let's not bicker and argue about who killed who.
It is abundantly clear that former President Trump has earned the requisite support of Republican voters. He will have our support during his presidency. That is a pretty full-throated endorsement from Mitch McConnell.
Number 2, the incomparable Ted Cruz. In 2016, Cruz was in the most bitter personal feud with Donald Trump imaginable.
So last night, Donald threatened my wife. He went directly after my wife.
They asked Ted Cruz, you know what she said? She said he's a lion. I won't say lion, Ted.
The man is utterly amoral.
I think he's crazy.
This man is a pathological liar.
He is choking like a dog.
Mess with my wife, you mess with my kids, that'll do it every time. Donald, you're a sniveling coward.
I don't need to tell you what happened after that.
So apparently hell froze over and Ted Cruz endorsed Donald Trump.
And again this year.
I am proud to endorse Donald Trump for President of the United States. I look forward to supporting him enthusiastically.
And finally, number 1, a bit of an unlikely choice, we went with New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu. He's not the most famous person on the list. He and Donald Trump didn't exchange the most cartoonish playground insults. What really stands out is the reason why he opposed Trump and the reason why he flipped. He started out falling all over himself to martyr his own personal ambitions in order to stop Trump, and seemed to be calling out Trump's most egregious crimes.
Everybody saw what happened on January 6th. People understand it. What a lot of us saw as an insurrection event on the U.S. Capitol. And that's a very, very dangerous thing for our democracy.
But then he admitted something pretty interesting.
Are you opposed to Donald Trump because you don't think he can beat Joe Biden? Or are you opposed to Donald Trump because you're opposed to Donald Trump?
No, I'm opposed to him because he can't win. I just want to win.
And of course, after Trump gave him the usual insults,
he's like a spoiled brat. He's just, he's a little bit cuckoo.
He went and flipped. And just look at how he justifies himself.
You've said he's someone who's contributed to an insurrection.
I understand it doesn't make sense to you, George, but look at the polls.
You said in the past that he should drop out if he's convicted in the classified documents case. Do you still believe that?
No.
You support him for president even if he's convicted in classified documents. You support him for president even though you believe he contributed to an insurrection. You support him for president even though you believe he's lying about the last election. You'd support him for president even if he's convicted in the Manhattan case. I just want to say the answer to that is yes, correct?
Yeah, me and 51% of America.
Of all the Republicans on this list, and look, this list could have been 50 long, and we still would have had plenty to spare, Chris Sununu has got to be the most embarrassing. He knows what Trump is. He knows what Trump's done. But he's so craven, so morally bankrupt, he just doesn't care. He's perfectly willing to admit it. And that's the most humiliating come down of them all.